Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. If you missed General Hospital today, Tuesday, May 13, 2025, you will find a full and detailed recap below for your enjoyment. Emma Drake, Braden Bruner, finds Jocelyn Jacks, Eden McCoy, in Professor Dalton's, Daniel Goddard, office and loses her mind. First she accuses Joss of stealing her job, and then she believes that her rich girl resources bought her the position. Joss stands her ground about earning the spot, but clearly feels bad about hurting Emma. Emma gives it some thought, and then asks Joss if she told Dalton everything that she had said about being suspicious of him. Joss tells her no, and that if she finds out he is doing any testing on animals, she will be sure that the truth comes out. After Emma leaves, her WSB handler, Vaughn, Bryce Durfee, arrives to help her search the office. In the end, they both come to the conclusion that anything shady is hidden in Dalton's lab. Portia Robinson, Brooke Care, gets a visit from Trina Robinson, Tabiana Ali, in her office, just as she is hanging up a phone call with Drew Kane. Cameron Matheson, her daughter, stopped in after visiting Kai Taylor, Jen's Austrian Astrup, and they discuss his surgery and the documentary crew that is following his recovery. Trina says that it makes her mad to know that Drew is actually behind this crew that is invading Kay's life. Portia tells her to try and ignore it. She now believes that their whole family should just ignore Drew rather than keep causing themselves extra aggravation. She tells Trina that she also suggested that her husband do the same thing. Speaking of her husband, Jordan Ashford, Tanisha Harper tells Curtis Ashford, Donald Turner, over lunch that she doesn't want to hear about his issues with his wife. That doesn't stop Curtis from explaining that something feels very off. He feels like Portia has become Drew's biggest defender and he can't understand why. But he thinks that she is keeping something from him. Jordan suggests that Curtis not only talk to his wife, but listen to her as well. The nurses' ball rehearsals are in full swing, or they would be if Tracy Quartermain, Jane Elliott, wasn't late. Maxie Jones, Kirsten Storms, Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, and Lucy Coe, Lynn Herring, are waiting for her when Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rota, arrives. Lucy pulls him to the side to thank him again for underwriting the entire event, and they continue to chat. Emma storms into the room in tears asking to talk to Anna. She fills her in on not getting the assistant position, and Emma doesn't want to hear Anna's attempts at comforting her. She tells her grandmother that Professor Dalton is up to something horrible, and Anna strongly advises her to leave it alone. Laura Spencer, Ginny Francis, tells Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, that he can't sell the Piers to Sidwell because she worries about his plans for Port Charles. Laura also realizes that this move could be Sonny's exit strategy, and he agrees. He explains that it allows him to walk away from the business and also stops the criticism of their friendship. If he sells, then the referendum is off the ballot. In the end, Laura tells Sonny to take care of his family. Meanwhile, Jason Morgan is meeting with Tracy because she has a job for him. She explains that she wants him to find the baby that Brooklyn Quartermain, Amanda Seton, gave up for adoption 20 years ago. She says that if he finds the boy, then she will publicly support Sonny. Jason empathizes with the situation, but refuses to look for the grown child unless BLQ wants him to do so. Jason then visits Sonny and tells him about the proposition, without mentioning details. He tells Sonny that he refused the job. Lulu Spencer, Alexa Havens, needed a private conversation with Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, and after they both arrive at her home, she unloads. Lulu tells her that she believes that Gio Palmieri, Giovanni Mazza, is Brooke Lynn's baby that was given up for adoption. If it's true, BLQ and Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, has lived under their noses forever. Carly is just as horrified by the possibility as Lulu is, but she once again tells her not to play God in their lives. She insists that it isn't her place to do anything other than to keep quiet. She says that if this is true, then Sonny is Gio's grandfather, and even then, Carly would keep the secret to herself. Poor Charles was burning with heartbreak, suspicion, and shifting loyalties on the May 13 episode of General Hospital, as secrets unraveled and alliances fractured. What began as a seemingly quiet day turned into an emotional roller coaster that no one, least of all Emma Scorpio Drake, was ready for. Carly learned a shocking truth she never saw coming, and Jason Morgan made a stand that could change everything. Emma crushed. It was supposed to be a happy reunion. Emma Scorpio Drake, who had returned to Port Charles with bright hopes and tender nostalgia, found herself face to face with the ugly truth. Her parents were over, and worse, her father had moved on. The day started innocently enough. Emma had coffee at Kelly's, sharing smiles and sweet moments with her grandmother Anna Devane, who was thrilled to have her back. Emma spoke of how much she missed Port Charles, how the city held pieces of her heart. But her joy dimmed the minute she asked about her father. Anna hesitated. "There's something you should know," she warned, gently. Later at GH, Emma tracked down her dad, Patrick Drake, in the hallway. She ran into him, literally, arms wide open, expecting the warmth of their familiar bond. But the warmth came with an unexpected chill. Beside him was a beautiful woman, with familiarity in her eyes and something more between her and Patrick that Emma couldn't unsee. "Emma, this is Dr. Natalie Prescott," Patrick introduced, a bit too cautiously. Emma's eyes narrowed. The pleasantries were short-lived. Emma pulled Patrick aside and whispered, "Are you dating her?" The look on Patrick's face said it all. "Yes," he admitted, and Emma's heart sank. "You and Mom aren't getting back together?" she asked, eyes wide, trembling. "I'm sorry, sweetheart," he said, putting a hand on her shoulder. Emma didn't cry in front of him. She saved that for when she ran to the hospital rooftop, the same place where so many memories of her parents lingered. As the wind whipped her hair and she gazed over the skyline, Emma whispered, "They were supposed to find their way back." Her heart had never felt heavier. Carly shocked. Across town, Carly Spencer was deep into investigating the mystery surrounding Jason's return. Something didn't sit right with her: Jason's coldness, his evasiveness, the haunted look in his eyes. She couldn't shake the feeling that there was something he wasn't telling her. And she was right. She went to the Metro Court, where Diane had arranged a meeting with a man claiming to have intel on the people who'd held Jason. Carly expected smoke and mirrors. What she got was a bombshell. He was working for the FBI, the man told her. Jason Morgan cut a deal. Carly blinked. That's impossible. Jason would never flip. The man slid a folder across the table. Inside were documents, photographs, and surveillance logs, evidence of Jason's cooperation with the federal government. She stared in disbelief. Her hands trembled. Her throat tightened. "No, this isn't him," Carly said, voice cracking. The source leaned in. He didn't have a choice. "They threatened someone. A woman, a child. I don't know who, but he's been protecting them for over 2 years." The revelation hit her like a freight train. Carly rushed out, clutching the folder, her world unraveling. She knew she needed answers, and there was only one man who could give them. Jason refuses Tracy. Meanwhile, at the Quartermain mansion, Tracy Quartermain was in rare form. With Ned out of town and Michael buried in ELQ meetings, she saw an opportunity, and she wanted Jason in on it. Jason had barely stepped through the door before Tracy confronted him. "Jason, let's talk business," she said, snapping her fingers at Alice to bring them coffee. "ELQ is in trouble. We need someone ruthless on the board. Someone the shareholders respect." "I'm not interested," Jason said flatly, arms folded. "You're a Quartermain whether you like it or not," Tracy pressed. "You can't run from it forever." Jason's jaw clenched. "I'm not running. I'm choosing not to be part of a world I walked away from years ago." Tracy narrowed her eyes. "You came back from the dead. Again. Are you really going to waste this second, third chance playing enforcer for Sonny Corinthos when you could run an empire?" Jason stood his ground. I don't want to run an empire. I want my life back. Tracy's voice dropped, laced with something colder. Then why are you hiding? Who's got you leashed, Jason? And why? Jason's silence spoke volumes. You're not the man you used to be, Tracy said. And if you won't take back your legacy, someone else will. And it won't be someone you trust. He turned to leave. Think about what you're giving up, she called after him. I have, Jason said without looking back. Back at Carly's. Jason arrived at Carly's just before sunset. The sky was streaked with violet and orange, casting long shadows in her living room. She stood by the fireplace, arms crossed, the folder open on the table. You lied to me, she said when he entered. Jason didn't answer. She threw the folder toward him. Is it true? Did you work for them? Yes, he said. Why? She demanded, voice rising. Why would you work with the people who destroyed your life? Jason looked tired, worn. Because they had her, he said softly. Her who? Carly asked, stepping closer. Jason hesitated. Was it Britt? She asked. Or was it your son? Jason looked away. It doesn't matter, he said. What matters is that I did what I had to do. Carly's eyes filled with tears. You were gone for 2 years. We grieved you. And you were out there, working for them? Jason nodded. I didn't have a choice. You always have a choice, Carly said, voice trembling. You just didn't make it with me in mind. The pain in her voice cut through him, but he didn't defend himself. He just stood there, letting her hurt pour out. I don't even know who you are anymore, she whispered. Jason finally met her gaze. I'm still me, but I've done things you won't understand. Try me, she challenged, eyes fierce and wet with tears. But Jason turned and walked out the door. Elsewhere in Port Charles, Sonny Corinthos had a tense conversation with Ava Jerome, warning her to stay out of his business. She coolly reminded him that they share custody of Avery, and that gets her more access to his life than he's comfortable with. Trina Robinson returned from her trip early and caught Spencer Cassadine in an awkward lunch with Esmond and Ace. She stayed silent, watching from a distance, unsure what to think or feel. Brooke Lynn and Chase spent a quiet day off at the park, away from the Quartermain drama. But a surprise call from the wedding planner reminded Brooke Lynn just how close their big day is, and how many secrets still hover. Closing moments. The final moments of the episode saw Emma back at Anna's, curled up on the couch, eyes puffy from crying. I just wanted my family whole again, she whispered. Anna held her close. I know, darling, but sometimes life writes a different story. Meanwhile, Jason stood on the footbridge where he once had countless heart-to-hearts with Robin, Carly, and Sonny. He stared out at the water, haunted and hollow. Carly, in turn, sat alone at the Metro Court bar, nursing a glass of wine, her reflection fractured in the mirror behind the bottles. Nothing in Port Charles felt safe anymore. Preview for tomorrow. Carly confronts Diane about keeping secrets. Jason meets with Anna, an unlikely alliance forming. Emma makes a bold decision about her future. Sonny receives a mysterious package from someone claiming to know where Dex is hiding. And someone returns to Port Charles, someone presumed dead. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our GH News 24 YouTube channel for more update news.